Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Something comes from chemicals about but comes so fairly known. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey there. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in to Want to Bet. We appreciate it. We are here to try to make money for you, Ben and I, and some of our friends and special guests throughout the sports wagering industry come to you every day, trying to pare down all the handicapping we've done, all the work we've done, and synthesize it into about 20 to 25 minutes to give you our favorite plays that we've made in this very moment right now. And we are, as always, transparent here, Beltway Ben. So before we get into first, second, and third down, which is our three favorite bets of the day, before we get into fourth and long and overtime, here's how we did last night. Yeah, it was a tough one for me. What you don't see there is a bet I gave out on Monday, which was both teams to score in the Euro semifinals. We continue to pound soccer. So 2-2 overall, and a Manny Machado error away from cashing another plus 200 Nerfy. But losses are losses. Eric Casillas was on with us yesterday, though, and he gave you a plus 179 Nerfy that did cash. So collectively, Beltway Ben, that's 5 straight shows in which we've connected on a Nerfy parlay, either you, I, or a guest. Nice little parlay you put together there, Ben, right? I mean, I know people go chasing this stuff sometimes, but a lot of times less is more, and that cashed for you in MLB. And as you see, we've cashed big time since we started this show May 21st.
Oh, absolutely. And I do want to say one thing. We are going to be attacking Rich Hill every single time we get a chance. I was watching him last night. You know the velocity isn't there, but just watching him, it felt like he was throwing a lot of beach balls, and he got away with some stuff, and the Cubs were still able to pour it on. So be ready to be betting against Rich Hill on this show every chance we get. But yeah, the parlay cash. Courtney Williams, she had like 4 at halftime. I knew we were in trouble. And then, of course, we lost the parlay. It was a kind of surprising night with some of them. Like Woods Richardson got hit as hard as I thought he would, but Yamamoto's command was horrendous. We haven't seen that from him much this year. So up and down night, but again, it was a nice cash for that parlay.
Yeah, I thought at the very least, Framber Valdez, who was cruising, was going to get us through with a push in that Houston money line. He gives up a run in the bottom of the 5th. And again, Machado charging a ball, which he's done amazingly his whole career, 60 miles an hour off the bat, launches it into the outfield. And then Kolek folded after that. And that was the risky part of that Nerfy. I said Kolek hasn't been great in the first inning. Miami got him for 6 weeks ago in the first inning. And then he's cruising and giving up no contact, and the whole thing fell apart. We're back at it today, though. First, second, third down. Our favorite bets that we have made basically in the last 24 hours or so. Third down's the money down in the NFL. That's our favorite play of the day. Fourth and long or short, a lot of times we're looking at long-term bets. We're looking at long shot bets, or we're looking at something to cash right away. Ben's got some thoughts in the WNBA. I've got a Yerfy, not a Nerfy, a Yerfy that I've played on fourth and long, and it's a Wednesday. So as always, overtime with the PLL. We'll take you through all 4 games. Ben and I continue to cash in the PLL, and we'll tell you our official plays there. We'll start though with first down. Beltway Ben, where are you taking us?
Yeah, first down. I'm going to go to a play that you hovered around for a few days. I probably shouldn't.
No, you should. It's got to hit today. I can't touch it because I'm a mook on this one, but it's got to hit today.
Has to. I mean, you got Lodolo on the road, 2.56 ERA, and he's striking batters out at a 25.5% rate compared to the 4.17 ERA at home and just an 18.8% K rate. So he's been a lot better on the road. And the ERA was above 4 in June, but all of a sudden in July, it drops to 2.37, and opposing batters are hitting 162 against him. Lodolo is starting to figure things out. He's been really, really good. On the other hand, you have Mike Soroka, who everybody thought was a thing after spring training, and he had 2 solid months in May and June. But all of a sudden, he's got a 6.92 ERA in July. I know they're trying to trade him. So if they do want to save him early on, you can bring that bad bullpen in the 5th, 6th, or 7th inning, and we should be fine there. The Reds still are in that playoff race.
Yeah.
The Nats suck. You have to take one from the Nats. If you get swept by the Washington Nationals, I don't know what to tell you. So I do like the Reds on the money line at -130.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big part of me that wanted to just go big on that game today after having a tough beat in game one, and then yesterday wasn't even close. I'm laying off it, but I will be rooting for you and the Redlegs. First down for me, I've been drilling down on some bad starting pitching, and here we're fading Justin Verlander, who is a shell of what he used to be. And give me the Braves first five. Braves have Strider on the mound. He hasn't been Cy Young Strider this year. He still has a 2.75 ERA at home. Opponents hitting just 220 off him at home. This is a day game. He's going to be pretty nasty, I think, to pick up. And it's a Giants team that, yeah, the bats went crazy last night. The previous 6 games, which they had lost, they scored a total of 17 runs. It's not a great lineup. And Verlander looks like he's shot, Ben. He's got a 9.26 ERA in the month of July. 23 hits allowed, 12 earned runs in 11 and 2/3 innings pitched. That's over 3 starts. And it's not like it's just been a bad pitch here or there. He's only allowed 1 home run. It's just been contact after contact, double to the gap after double to the gap. You know, he's not missing any bats, and this Atlanta team has been okay lately. It's just a pitching mismatch for me. I didn't like the way Strider stuff was priced. If you want to play Verlander over 2.5 earned runs, go for it. But ultimately, I took the Braves laying that half run through 5. Second down, Ben.
Yeah, second down. We're going to go with one of our parlays that we do. It's basically Luis Castillo over 17.5 outs. The Spain team total. Talked with Jason, who is the soccer expert. You can find any of his picks on the Super Discord. All the picks he's given out on here are hitting, and it's regular, right? Cashing. But talked to him about Spain yesterday, and sounds like they're going to score at least 1 goal. We literally need 1 goal from them, and that's just the toss in to get Luis Castillo's outs, which are about minus 188 down to 143. Castillo has been very, very good on the road. Castillo 2.06 ERA, or I mean at home. 2.06 ERA at home with a slash line against them, 179, 252, 298. We know all of their starting pitching is good at home, but Castillo especially, because when he's on the road, he runs into some trouble. In July, he's got a 1.45 ERA, and the bats have been very, very quiet in this series for both teams. You had the Brewers go off in game 1 and score 6, but that was about it. And there's been a combined 7 runs, which is just pretty insane to see. I think the unders continue, and with that, I think Castillo gets a lot of outs and is efficient in this outing. And then, like I said, with Spain, they've scored a goal in every game of this tournament. So we just need 1. That should cash there, and we just need Castillo to go over the 17.5 outs. That's basically the plan.
Love it, and this correlates to my next 2 plays. We'll start with my second down play, and I've got a parlay as well. And we have it's been the summer of soccer for us. We crushed the Gold Cup, we crushed the Club World Cup, we're crushing Champions League qualifiers, and we're crushing the Women's Euros. Unfortunately, we've only got 2 more Women's Euros matches to go. And I love Spain to win, and Spain on the money line isn't going to get you much. I'll tell you, I've played this 3 different ways. This is my favorite one. Both teams to score and Spain on the money line, and it's going to get you the biggest potential return there. If you just look at this tournament, 16 of the last 19 games played, both teams have scored. That's a trend. Spain, go back beyond this tournament, look at their last 12 competitive matches. Both teams have scored in 9 of the 12. Spain is the most prolific offense in this tournament. It would not shock me if they score early in this game, and I'll be rooting for that. It's something that they've done. It's a Germany squad that's going to have tired legs. Germany went down to 10 women 14 minutes into the last match, and then that match went extra time, and they survived France on penalties. But they picked up some injuries in that match. They're going to be probably down a key defender, and they've got a suspension off the straight red card from the last game. So it's still Germany, though, and it's still one of the best women's teams on the planet, and they have a ton of pride. And I think they're good to find a way to get a goal out of this match. And Spain has been conceding, and I think Spain will open up on the front foot and try to take it to a Germany team that we think could be lagging a little bit. Look, France should have beat Germany. France never beats Germany, though. Germany's in their head. That obviously played out as that game took off, and Spain's going to watch that film and say, wow, France needed to have more attacking edge. France needed to send the wingbacks up the flank more often. France needed to commit more bodies in the box, being up a player. We're going to stick to our guns. We're going to attack. We're going to bring numbers. And I think it's going to be effective. Spain, for me, has been the best team in this tournament. Even when they played a C-ish game, a C+, a C- game, they've gotten through and they've tended to win by multiple goals. If you want to play this as well, Spain money line, over 2.5 total goals, I'm with you. I've done it. You want to play at Spain money line and Spain to score over 1.5 goals themselves, I'm with you. I've done it. But this has been a tournament of goals. And while semifinals often can be ugly and 1-0 kind of games, I don't think that's going to be the case here. Third down, Beltway Ben.
Yeah, I will be tailing those. And I hate to do this here, just kind of with where I am, but I'm going to go with the Steelers on the money line in week 1. And I say I hate to do that because, of course, I am a Ravens fan, but we like to win money here, and that's all that matters. This is just I don't realistically think that the Jets have a shot week 1 with the way both teams are coming in. Because if you want to make the point about the Steelers that it's going to take some time for adjustments and changes and everything like that, it's the same thing on the other side of the ball, and one team has more talent than the other. It's going to take Glenn some time to get the team fully bought into that style. Tomlin usually wins these matchups. You know how successful he is staying above 500 and how he is getting into the playoffs. It's not from beating the top team every year, right? They're not going out and beating Kansas City every year.
Right.
He will win the games that they are supposed to. Rodgers played in New York, so he's used to it. And there's going to be, some pressure on him or whatever, but he has played in the league a long time. And if you look at Tomlin at East Rutherford at MetLife, 6 of his last 9 games he's won. I get it. They're different. Some are against the Giants, some are against the Jets, but neither one of those two teams has been very good in a long time. And I think he should be able to take this win again. It's going to be minus 156. I don't think for too much longer. Heading into week 1, I think it's going to get high minus 100s, probably in the 200s, just the way people bet money lines and everything like that once NFL season has officially begun. So I do like the Steelers on the money line in week 1.
Yeah, I back Mike Tomlin quite a bit, and he cashes for me. This is an interesting game. It's a double revenge game. You got Fields against the Steelers and Rodgers against the Jets. Yeah, Aaron Glenn's first game as a head coach having to go against Mike Tomlin. I love that play, Beltway Ben. I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I'm going to jump on that one on an app right after we finish this. I will make a meatball play. He's our middle dog. That's just the standard 1-unit play for me, but I like it. Third down for me. I mentioned your second down's correlated to my third down. I'm taking the first 5 under in the Brewers-Mariners series. You hit on the pitching and how it's played out to this point. Castillo at home, 11 starts, a 2.06 ERA. He loves pitching in that ballpark. Everybody loves pitching in that ballpark. Hey, Quinn Priester, look, I saw him pitch a lot in the minors, and I was pretty impressed. I thought, frankly, he'd be doing with, like, what Jared Jones ended up doing with the Pirates. I kind of thought Priester was going to be that kind of a guy. He gets himself to Milwaukee after a short stint in Boston. Milwaukee knows what they're doing with young pitchers. Like, I don't think this is smoke and mirrors. This kid was a first-round pick in 2019, which was a great draft. 3.3 ERA for the season with the Brewers. Ben mentioned only 7 runs scored in the first 2 games of this series. If you look at Castillo in the first 5 innings, right, total runs scored, his last 9 starts, there have been 4 or fewer total runs scored in 6 of his last 9 starts in the first 5. Quinn Priester, his last 12 starts, only twice has he allowed more than 1 run in the first 5 of an inning. And Priester's last 12 starts, there have been 6. He's allowed 16 total runs in the first 5 innings. That's 1.3 per game. Like, I can live with that. Milwaukee on the road is 31-20 to the under in the first 5. And Seattle at home is basically 500 for the year, over under in the first 5. So I expect the pitching to continue to be the story there. It's a series we've been on Nerfies, right? We've made money off this series on no-run first innings, and I like the under there. All right, Beltway Ben, 4th and long or short. We going back to the WNBA?
Yes, we are, and we're going to go with a same game parlay because we have just one game tonight. And it's 4 plays, right? Alyssa Thomas, 10+.
Oh, wow.
Alicia Gray, 10+. Brianna Jones, 6+ rebounds. And then Sabali, 2+ assists. And you look at Sabali, just start with the last one. She's got 2+ assists in 16 of 18 games this season. And I know she's coming back from injury. There's going to be some adjustments. But again, 16 of 18 games. I'm pretty comfortable with taking that. Alyssa Thomas has gone for 10 plus points in 16 of 17 games. Alyssa Thomas, even with, the two starters in Copper and Sabali being back, I still am very expecting Alyssa Thomas to have a good role scoring, and she's been playing well. It takes some time for people coming back to adjust because they missed multiple games. It wasn't just one game. You also had the All-Star break that lasted a pretty long time. And then Alicia Gray has been getting buckets. She's been one of the best scorers in the league to this point, and she was in the All-Star game. She's gone for 10-plus points in 22 of 23. I'd consider playing 15-plus. If you want to get to plus 200, I would play her for 15-plus points. And then Brianna Jones, 8 of her last 10. She's grabbed 6 rebounds. She's aggressive on the glass. Brittany Griner, sometimes the mismatch, teams can use her as a mismatch because she doesn't guard as well outside. So we could see them go a little bit smaller and play Brianna Jones more at that 5 spot to grab more rebounds. So 4 plays here to get us to plus 145. And if you want to get to plus 200, I would take Alicia Gray, 15-plus points.
Excellent. 4th and long or really, really short because you can catch this really, really quickly. For me, and I'm going to switch it up here and go with a Yurfie Beltway, Ben. I did a lot of work on these games. There were not a lot of Nerfies that I liked. And my personal Nerfie parlay streak is over. But I do like the yes run in a first inning in this Padres-Marlins matchup. Dylan Cease on the mound, not having his best season and subject to trade rumors. He has a robust 4.5 ERA in the first inning for the season. But really, I'm on this because of Sandy Alcantara, who I don't think is getting traded because he doesn't look like an ace. He looks like a number 5 starter these days. The Yurfie is cashed in 6 straight Alcantara starts. The Yurfie has cashed in 7 of the last 11 Marlins games total. Alcantara has a 6.16 ERA in the first inning. The league is batting 300 off him in the first inning. Now, the Padres don't score a lot early in games. Like, that's one of their problems. However, Manny Machado is 7 for 12 in his career with a 1250 OPS against Alcantara. Xander Bogaerts 5 of 11 off of him in his career with a home run. So I'm going to lean into that. I have not liked how Alcantara started these games. And frankly, the Marlins have scored for him early in games quite a bit, and he still tends to give it up. If you want to get bold, did I sprinkle on a Yurfie parlay this game with Tampa and the White Sox? I did. I got it at over 300. The best you're going to find it right now is plus 249 on that parlay. So that would be, again, the Rays and the White Sox Yurfie with a Padres Marlins Yurfie, if you want to parlay that. And that brings us to overtime on a Wednesday, which is one of our favorite things that we do around here, which is break down the upcoming Premier Lacrosse League slate. I went 1-1 with my best bets last week, Beltway Ben. How did the PLL go for you over the last weekend?
Yeah, it was 2-2. We were both even. Fine weekend. Again, not amazing, but I do feel pretty confident about this week.
Yeah, and it's weird, Ben. Like, I like the Friday games. Like, the games that I've bet on, again, early are the Friday games. I like that slate a little more than the Saturday. You cannot talk about the PLL at all without talking about the dominant trend there. Dogs, 20-8 against the spread for the season. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these -1.5s, and you're going to find it factored quite heavily into what I'm personally doing this week in the PLL. And we'll start with the first game of the weekend. California Redwoods struggling against the Utah Archers, who continually get favored by Vegas, Beltway Ben, but they can't cover. Utah is 0-7 against the spread, the only team yet to win against the spread this season. But they do have one of the best defenses in the league. They're certainly better than California. California's lost 5 straight games. They've lost by 4, by 2, by 3, by 6, by 1. So a lot of multi-goal losses there. Utah beat them 12-11 in week 7. Again, Utah doesn't beat anybody by 2 goals. So you've got to factor that in. Since 2020, Utah's 8-0 straight up against the Redwoods. Ben, I just took the Archers on the money line. That, to me, made all the sense in the world. They can win this as a low-scoring game. It is their home weekend. And while that has not been great news for those home teams on the second game, because the home team plays twice in a weekend, that first game, usually they show up. They're ready to go. California, to me, is the worst team in the league, and it's not even close. I mean, you're looking at a California team that's allowed the second most goals, and you're looking at an Archers team that's allowed the second fewest. This is a play for me. I have played this. This helmet doesn't fit on my fat head, but it is a PLL lacrosse helmet. Give me Utah on the money line. What about you?
Yeah, I just went with a prop here. I do lean Utah on the money line, but prop for California, Chris Kavanaugh over 2.5 points at -130. He's over this in 5 of 8 games this season, and he got things going last game where he scored 4 goals. And I mean, you just touched on it. California sucked, and they're going to need their top young star to really continue to take the steps forward. And if they're not going to win games, he still needs to show up and show some growth. And I'm on McNaney to win the Rookie of the Year. We know that, and the odds have changed in a very good way since then. But he's still chasing it, right? -330 doesn't mean it's over yet. He could have a chance. I don't see that. But if he shows up more and more, you know he wants to win that award, especially if this team's not going to do anything like the way it's going. And he had 7 shots the first time these two teams faced off against one another. I understand he didn't go over, but 7 shots mean there was a lot of opportunity there. He's actually very, very good. And I do think, with the opportunities, he just needs to find the net. So I do like him and Chris Kavanaugh over 2.5 points.
Excellent. Second game of the weekend. Our Maryland Whipsnakes against the New York Atlas. I told you that nobody's covering in this league, right? Except for the New York Atlas, who have now won 4 straight, and they've won them all by at least 2 goals. They've won by 4, they've won by 6, they've won by 2, they've won by 8. They are 4-3 against the spread for the season, which again is noteworthy because they've been a favorite a lot lately, and they're still covering in a league where nobody's covering. They've got a +14 scoring differential. That's number 1 in the PLL. And look, I was ready to write Maryland off. I didn't think they'd beat Philadelphia last week. And through the first half of that game, most of the first half of that game, it was one-way traffic, and it looked like Philadelphia was going to run away with it. Whipsnakes fought for their season in the second half. I give them a lot of credit for that. And the Whipsnakes are 5-2 against the spread. They also beat New York back in week 3, 16-12. Now, New York hasn't lost since then. New York has never covered as a favorite in their history against Maryland, but I do think they're the better team, Beltway Ben. I think their momentum is real. So this is another one. It's an official play for me. I jumped this. I'm on the Atlas on the money line, and if you want to parlay that with Utah, I wouldn't be mad at you.
Yeah, great minds think alike. I am also going with the Atlas on the money line. And, they haven't beaten the Whipsnakes in a few years, but they're playing extremely well right now. 4 straight wins, and you touched on it. They have not lost since that last matchup with the Whipsnakes. You know how I am about revenge spots. Revenge.
Yeah.
I do love those spots, and I think this is a really good spot for the Atlas to continue their run. And I do think, past few weeks, the Whipsnakes are overachieving. I think, being from Maryland, I am a Whipsnakes fan, but I think we have to be realistic. I don't think that team is as good as they've played. So I'm going to go with the Atlas on the money line at -158.
Excellent. Let's double dip on that one. That brings us to the Saturday games, and it gets kicked off with Philadelphia and Carolina. Look, I'm on the Water Dogs to win the whole thing. Water Dogs got the most prolific attackman in NCAA history, their first overall pick, joining them last week. I thought it would be a boon for them. It was not. As we mentioned, they lost to Maryland. Philadelphia is still 4-3 against the spread. Carolina, who maybe looked left for dead 3 weeks ago, are 4-3 against the spread. I did not make a play on this game, Beltway Ben. There's just something about Carolina. They hang in these games, and they've got maybe the best keeper in the league, and sometimes they find ways to win games that you don't think they would. Philadelphia is just 2-8 against the spread as a favorite in their last 10. That's a troubling trend for me. Their coach tends to never cover when he's a favorite. But they have won 7 straight against Carolina, 6-1 against the spread, their last 7 against Carolina. I'm off this game. Are you doing anything here?
Yeah, you made me laugh a little bit there talking about the team just never going away and keep fighting, because the comp right now for me is the Pacers, who are exact same. And that was a team that I consistently bet against and consistently won against, and they just proved me wrong. And that's what the Chaos have done the past few weeks. But I'm doing it again here in the Water Dogs on the money line. I'm just not really buying where the Chaos are. You mentioned it, but the Water Dogs are 7-0 against the Chaos since 2020. Carolina's coming off a loss after a good run. I think that might be kind of how the rest of their season goes, right? They had the one good push, but I don't think they're good enough to continue to compete. The Water Dogs are overall the better team and have a lot more talent on offense, and the best player in the league in Sauer. So I do like the Water Dogs minus 144 on the money line.
And that brings us to the final game of the weekend. I have a lean here. I haven't played this myself. If I'm not saying I won't play it by the time we get to Saturday. If you made me play it right now, I would take Denver on the money line. Again, this is Denver with an extreme rest advantage. This is an Archers team that's in a little bit of a desperate situation. And maybe they roll over California. Maybe that game's over by the half and they can kind of coast. But that hasn't been how their games are going. Like I said, they haven't covered all year. Everything's been a one-goal game. Denver's got a plus 13 scoring differential. That's second best in the PLL, just one off of the Atlas, as I mentioned previously. Denver's won 5 in a row. And it's really been a tale of two seasons for Denver, Beltway Ben. Like, they only produced 30 total goals in their first 3 games. They've scored 62 in their last 4. So they're going from barely averaging 10 a game to going over 15 a game. They won the first meeting between these teams 13-10 in week 4. I think they take care of business here. I lean to the Outlaws money line here. What about you?
Yeah, I do as well. It's not an official play. You know what? We can actually make it an official play the more I look into it. Okay. Just with homecoming, teams in game 2. We hit the only week that a team won. We hit it, or I hit it, and it was straight up. They're 1-4 straight up in their second game. Denver, since they've had McNaney and net, have not lost. And that was really the changer for them, because at that point when he started, they hadn't won a game and they weren't playing very good. And we were looking like, what is that team? Now all of a sudden they're like plus 290 or whatever to win the league. Pretty crazy what a good goalie can do for you. And Utah, as we said, they're going to be playing the second game. I think that's going to be allowed on them. So I do like Denver on the money line, which actually I was just going to have 3 official plays coming into the day. But the more I think about it, I will be going with another official play. So this is 4 for 4.
Love it. Love it. Excited for PLL action this weekend. Look, we've got a lot of plays up. There's a lot of matinee baseball today, games starting around noon Eastern. If you want to see everything we played, you can go to our the Super Discord that we're in. You can go to right there, the link tree in my Twitter bio, in Ben's Twitter bio, in Eric Casillas' Twitter bio. Find out how to get on board there. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I've got some CFL early plays that I've made that I want to hip you guys to. We have got MLS kicking off again this weekend after their All-Star break. There's some games there I'm looking at, and obviously MLB, WNBA, NFL futures, all that stuff. We'll be back to bet with you tomorrow on Wanna Bet, and we thank you guys as always for tuning in.